This episode contains minor Danganronpa Kirigiri spoilers. When I woke up, the whole world was reversed. The bed and the sofa in the room were above, and I fell on the ceiling, now the floor. Shinobu asks Borgs what the situation is like, and it answers that she was in a coma for 3 minutes and 11 seconds, and she reported a few light injuries. The window of her room is broken, and the iron bars covering have been bent from the impact, so she is able to get out of the train. There, she sees countless dead soldiers and a group of tentacle soldiers. They are checking if all the soldiers are dead, and if they find someone who is alive, they proceed to kill them. Shinobu looks around and sees the uragan, which is most likely the cause of the train crash, and Taiko Kanai from the Hasegawa Research Institute. "It's no use trying! Resistance is futile! Hand over Byakuya Togami, or we'll keep up our bloodbath!" declares Taiko while playing her guitar atop the uragan. The Hasegawa Research Institute seemed to be back. No, the Casamori drug manufacturers were back again.
Borgs equals search results. Number 212-91600. Item, company. Title, Casamori Drug Manufacturers. Was created by Casamori, founded in 32nd year of Meiji, 1899. Mainly selling professional medical supplies. It merged with Germany's Neo-Gerin in 1902, becoming the de facto number one in the pharmaceutical industry. After the defeat of the German-Japanese alliance in World War II, the company lost all of its foreign assets and equipment, and later achieved a V-shaped recovery through the manufacture and sale of the redhead fern tablets 220, which were hailed as epoch-making anti-cancer agents. However, the drug caused many patients to die due to its side effects. The company lost the group lawsuit filed by the patient's family, Redhead Fern Lawsuit, 1998, not only to pay huge compensation, but also to damage the reputation. There are rumors. It is said that the current operating conditions of the company have deteriorated drastically.
Naturally, the WHO and UN soldiers refuse, causing both groups to fight. Kazuya suddenly comes out of the train and reaches towards Shinobu. "A pharmacy actually dares make life difficult for the WHO? The world really is hopeless. They were probably brought up by dogs with the way they're acting," Kazuya says. "Huh? When did you discover that Casamori was posing as the Hasegawa Research Institute?" "What? Sister, what are you talking about?" "Casamori is posing as the Hasegawa Research Institute." Was I the only one to hear about this organization? What is this unspeakable emotion? It was like when I remembered that my classmates in my previous school discussed the sinking of Japan. I thought they were talking about a very old movie, but soon I found out they were talking about the remastered version of the movie. Although the plot's the same, it is different from the original version that I'm familiar with. Having these almost similar plot lines described to me made me feel like I was transported to some unreal parallel world. It wasn't an easy topic for me to handle. For example, it's like an elementary school talent show. When you are performing a children's play at the show and about to come on stage, however you suddenly find out the script you had in your hand at the time was different. At that moment, I shuddered. Well, one thing is clear. It is Casamori that blocked the road in Germany. Although their name is Casamori Drug Manufacturers, most of the stockholders are German. Shinobu turned around as to not show her anxiety. "But aren't all their overseas assets all gone?" "Just turned underground. Many of the high-ranking officials of Casamori are now German political figures." Casamori explains that Germany likely didn't give them passage by air just so that they could stage this train attack on the UN and the WHO to get Byakuya and the Kudan. They will do everything they can in order to obtain the immense power of the Kudan. "Where is Byakuya-sama?" Shinobu pipes up. "You might as well worry about yourself first. Byakuya was handed over to my army with no problems. Where is Byakuya-sama? Just give it to me. Where is Byakuya-sama? Quit being annoying, Kazuya muttered under his breath. Byakuya Togami is in the first car. I want to save him. No need for that. Although things have developed to this point, the physical security measures of the train are impeccable. The windows of the first car are all secured with iron bars. The door is locked from the outside of the padlock, and the outside world can't interfere with the inside. I want to save him. Are your ears blocked? I said that the safety measures are impeccable, but it'd still be dangerous for you to enter, sister. But I still have to save him. This is the reason why I'm alive. I want to look at him, write down his deeds, guarantee his safety. If not, then I will lose the meaning of my existence. What a silly fantasy. If you were jealous, then you can be quiet. If my sister must save him, then you mustn't care much for me, then. Stop worrying about me. Shinobu runs towards the first wagon, but Taiko sees her and several tentacle soldiers start approaching her. Found you, Blue Ink! The Uragan comes closer, creating a hole in the ground from the force, and Taiko asks Shinobu to choose between her life and revealing Byakuya's position. Shinobu asks her about the Hasegawa Research Institute, but Taiko has no clue what she's talking about. From the attitude of Taiko, she does not seem to be lying. That is to say, she doesn't understand what I'm talking about. What I said is very abnormal. I couldn't believe it. Since you aren't telling us what we need, then you're useless. We don't have time for playing around anymore, so I'll personally send you to hell. The jet engines began spinning. I was pulling Kazuya's hand and was going to run behind the carriage to avoid it, but the carriage was blown away like paper. You have nowhere to run! Taiko's words are quite right. I can't find a place to hide. Because of the fierce battles around me, bullets have covered the whole area. Kazuya then calls the surviving soldiers, and now the two factions are facing each other while the Uragan is coming closer. Can this be called fighting? Isn't it just a matter of ending life without meaning? This is a mutual killing until one side is the last man standing. A good image of hell itself. Then moving so lightfully and skillfully in the sky above such a hellish scene. Sorry to keep ya waiting! Was my brother. Suddenly, a sightseeing bus jumps from the forest and over the hellish scene. It's Suzuhiko Otsuki, first off by singing a small nursery rhyme, and then Iwo Tori Medose. The former super high school level hitman crashes into the bus, with the tentacle soldiers and the UN soldiers, killing them and entwining the corpses within its wheels. I've got to get off at the next stop, but this all-night tour ain't stopping since the brakes are broken. The bus then flew into one of the trains, causing a large explosion. It seemed to be filled with gunpowder. Shinobu and Kazuya were blasted into the air by the giant explosion, like puppets whose strings had been cut. But after the crash, Suzuhiko wasn't in the driver's seat anymore, and there was a big hole cut in the bus door. Then the sound of the intermittent screaming stopped the soldiers from fighting, and after a few seconds all the soldiers from both parties were on their knees, spilling blood from their necks and chests. None of them were a match for the former super high school level hitman. Suzuhiko seemed to be tired of hide and seek, jumped out of the pasture, and rushed over to the Uragan in one breath. He stood in front of Taiko in the blink of an eye. Then everything was over. Hey! Taiko spat out her last pitiful sentence, perhaps only because her neck was already cut to her vocal cords. Suzuhiko violently ripped away his knives and the body of Taiko was torn apart. Her hands, feet, internal organs and underwear fell like a ripe fruit from the Uragan. I have to say that the gap between talent here is too big. No one interrupted him because the tentacle soldiers and the United Nations soldiers had been completely wiped out. Hey, you can come out now. You're both still alive, right? Let's talk business, Suzuhiko said with his knife gleaming. Suzuhiko looks down on Shinobu and Kazuya from the top of the Uragan. Then he gets off it and starts walking towards Kazuya and Shinobu. As Suzuhiko puts it, they have a family reunion, which mostly consists of angry shouting and a recap exposition dump. Kazuya blames Suzuhiko for hindering his job, to which he responds he saved Kazuya's life, so it's no good to talk to his big brother that way. He has saved it before, and now he has saved it again. I just said that what you did hindered me. I'm the captain of the World Health Organization's Infectious Disease Prevention and Control Unit. I am not who I was 4 years ago.
Oh, you're gonna rub your own ass? I'll wait for you to wear a diaper so you can say that again.
I'm no longer a child. They continue to argue, Suzuhiko bringing up the point that they are not blood related, so he didn't have to save him. Why did you even come to the Czech Republic? Don't tell me you are after the Kudan too.
Oh, nah, I'm not interested in that little prophecy of your little cowgirl. I just accepted the commission to the assassination of Byakuya Togami.
Who commissioned you?
You really think I'm gonna tell you?
Are you lying then? Kazuya said. You spontaneously come to the Czech Republic and spontaneously blended into this incident.
Well, why do you think so?
Intuition?
Intuition alone can't refute someone, Kazuya-kun. It's because of this reason that you were destroyed by that detective in that incident.
Do you know what happened to that detective? I heard that he is dead like a dog.
I'm not interested.
To tell you the truth, I'm not either. Once I heard Nanamura was dead, my heart didn't even waver once. It's really strange to say, but I hate him so much that I can't ever forgive him.
It means you haven't let go from the beginning.
I didn't expect that I actually understood my feelings after so long. Can you understand your own mood?
Well then now, there's only one purpose for me to be here. That is to reconcile with you.
Suzuhiko said as he jumped off of the Uragan onto Taiko's mangled corpse and came over to stand in front of us. Suzuhiko recites an old Japanese saying and continues on.
This is how it is. Our brothers and sisters are all dead, and only us are alive. The Togami name can no longer bind us, and the Togami name cannot be the motive for us to fight, so we should naturally reconcile.
Are you serious?
Of course.
Then you are crazy. You just ruin everything.
Do you really think so, Kazuya? Well, then you're the crazy one. You destroyed everything.
Shinobu believes that this fight will be the end of the relationship between them all. It will be ruined as both Kazuya and Suzuhiko have ruined her, and she them. Obviously, if the three of us are together, the destruction will come again. But my brothers can't understand this. It's always been this way. Shinobu lashes out at both of them, saying she will not go back to either of them, as now they are no longer Togamis. Suzuhiko is Otsuki and Kazuya is ore of an elevator. Both of them are now outsiders to the family.
What you said is really sad, my dear little sister.
Suzuhiko was unmoved.
Our name is not important at all. The relationship between me and you is enough to surpass the name Togami.
The name Togami is a very important name. I'm a Togami. I'm the super high school level secretary, belonging to Byakuya-sama only, so I can't really say it's good to see you again.
Don't mention the small stuff. Let's forgive and forget, and become as close as we were before all this. Sounds good?
Don't you dare. It was Kazuya. Taking a step forward, he let the lightsaber appear on his right hand and stopped in front of our big brother.
Oh, come on, Kazuya-kun. How could a younger brother be able to beat his older brother? Put away that dangerous thing and play some easier games. What do you reckon? Chess or poker? Oh, I guess we could play Uno, but with me, well...
I want to save my sister, let her get rid of your curse, and use my own strength to do it. And with that, Kazuya's lightsaber, shining like a fluorescent lamp, grazed his older brother's throat. However, Suzuhiko continued to smile happily, like some hippie. He screamed,
Oh, I guess it's a change of heart.
He raised his blood-stained knife. At that moment, I heard a sound. A large flame was burning all around us, and the fire ignited by the incendiary bomb surrounding us. The heat was almost enough to burn my throat. The crimson-coloured fire walls appeared around us. The surrounding is covered by a brand new hellish scene. Moreover, this does not seem to be having a positive effect on Kazuya. He looked at the sky with an incredulous look and screamed, This can't be! And Kazuya, He was shaking.
Forbes equals search results. Number 909088892. Classification, symptom. Title, flashback. Post-traumatic stress disorder. A mental disorder caused by intense psychological stress due to disasters, accidents, emergencies, etc., causing psychological fake events or the situation which caused the trauma reappearing in the brain, and when the symptoms are severe, it may even cause confusion.
After the 2 fires in the Kuchinashi village and at Taojo Castle, Kazuya was indeed insane. And I didn't know when his sword disappeared and a shameful liquid flowed out of his eyes and mouth, making him lose the strength to support his body, and he fell on his knees. Kazuya is suffering, but I intend to use this gap to escape. I fully understood my indifference and ran away at the same time. Although it is not clear what happened in the end, there is only one thing I have to do, and that is to get to the first train car where Byakuya-sama is, and that's it. Shinobu runs to the first wagon of the train, ignoring Suzuhiko, who is calling for her. More incendiary bombs fell, and she walked to the first car, but it was already burnt to a crisp. She tries to open the door of the wagon, but it's locked by a padlock. Suzuhiko then steps forward and cuts a hole through the wagon door, and Shinobu gets inside. Byakuya-sama! The train car had been burnt and the heat reached dangerous levels. I walked quickly, but I couldn't see him anywhere. I thought he might have escaped from another door, but I tried to pull the door, and it was locked by another padlock. But Byakuya-sama was gone. Byakuya-sama, 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 Byakuya-sama. I called his name, but I never found him. How could this be? He couldn't get out. At that moment, I heard the roar of an engine. I suddenly had a strong sense of foresight, and quickly jumped out of the first train car. I know this. I know what will happen next, and after that too. Then the Mercedes stopped at the side that I expected, and the window of the driver's seat did not open as I expected. Hey, rich kid, need a lift? The man in the driver's seat did not know why I looked so happy. Hey, so, where are we going? There was no other choice. I pulled the rear door and jumped into the Mercedes. Coming in. Thank you, my pleasure, miss. The Mercedes darted forward as the throttle was pressed. I saw Suzuhiko run over at a frightening speed, but the man in the driver's seat said, "Boom off!" Pressed the skull button, and there was jet engines behind the car, increasing our speed. The landscape, the sky, the flames, and my brothers all disappeared in the violent acceleration, and I could not see anything with my dynamic vision or Borgs. While bumping out in the car, my memories felt like they were starting to see the unreality of this situation. A bit of a shorter episode today, but I hope you enjoyed it. Now time for the translator's notes. Sinking of Japan is a 2006 tokusatsu film directed by Shinji Higuchi. It is an adaptation of the novel Japan Sinks and a remake of the film Tidal Wave, both made in the year 1973. The title of the little poem that Suzuhiko sings is along the words of sitting on the bus or something like that, but I wasn't entirely sure of what it was, and I couldn't actually find the song online or anything, so I'm not really sure. Aiwo Torimadose is one of the openings to Fist of the North Star. And the fire says that it was a wall of peridot flames for some reason, but I don't know if there would be enough copper for that to happen. So we just changed it to crimson just for the sake of it. And Hiroyuki's lines, we changed a little bit just to reflect his first opening appearance in DRT1, just for nostalgia's sake, because it's just slightly different. Anyway, well, rip Taiko and I guess rip Susei as well. Spoilers for Danganronpa Kirigiri. Yes, Susei dies. And since Kazuya hates Susei so much, how can you hate Susei? All the more reason to hate Kazuya, right? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next video. Have a good day, everyone.